Yeah, I was gonna say, that's,
Although I complain about it being gone all the time. Don't I?
Yeah, all the time.
Get up and help.
Heck, no, ain't
701?
my job. He don't pay me. He's working for the town, so.
I think she's already on it.
I can't mow to suit him though.
Okay, we'll call the Russellville Town Board meeting to order, June 24th, 2026. And give everybody a second to read over the minutes from last month.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes have been accepted. Second page. Start with the old business. We have tabled the nuisance orders, if you guys get a chance to look over them. If you have, then I don't think we have to go through and restate all that, we did it last time. We just have to sign it. There's none been added to it, it's all one, same one from last time.
Can you read my phone or something? Or lost in or something? If we don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just go through it again real quick. Well, we'll do the address. I don't mind. 205 East First Street. 300 East Second Street. 203 East Morgan Street. 102 Indiana Avenue. 400 East First Street. 111 Harrison Street. 204 Indiana Avenue. 201 Morgan Street. Those are all the ones from last month. I have none for this month. So we got these taken care of. And we'll go with another set next month. So you got a motion to accept those usage orders. In favor?
Aye.
And nuisance orders have been accepted. Okay. Second thing is, we got some bids for having the woods log behind the community center. We have 4 of them. We have, internet was down, so all I have is written ones that I had to pull off my phone. We have John Collier logging at $6,500 for 26 trees that he found that are worth logging out of there. Barrett Sawmill, $4,951 for 25 trees that he found. Clayton Morgan logging out of Wallace, he's at $5,120 for 25 trees.
Charge.
Corey Brothers
Oh,
logging
yeah, so, I mean, I just say, which is not a,
from Roseville, I
I've been
think.
doing, but I've still gotta get into next month.
He's at $4,900. And these numbers are what they would pay us, and then they would come in. Yeah. This is the numbers they would pay us to come in and log them, take the trees out, and should clean up all the mess too. And I will make sure I find it. they're gonna have to bring them up behind the school. I mean, it's the only place they have is to bring them up back there.
So you just know what kind of damage is gonna be there.
Well, if we keep them in one area, I mean, you'll have some dead grass and some spots where they're dragging the logs out. And the woods will, I mean, you'll have some logging trails in there when they're dragging the logs through the woods. They're just on our, yeah, they're marked. So, but I mean, it's logging, I mean, it's, the most we'll have to do is we'll probably have to go back here after they're all done and all the logs are out, maybe run a tiller through and throw some grass seed down.
A few years ago, when the community center was trying to get the grant, we told them Oliver to go ahead and get their trees out.
Can't hear you, Kathy, what you're saying.
A few years ago, we had proposed that Oliver was, he's the one that actually came to us and proposed about, I don't remember how many trees, we'd have to go through the notes to see how many trees they were looking at, or he was looking at, and he's the one that actually came first and said something about, taking the trees out, because the community center was trying to get money for the roof, and
Right. That was a few years ago and nobody did anything with it, so his
Well,
price
I
is
mean-
gonna be obsolete on whatever he said
well,
because
we
everything
still,
goes up.
well, we had approved that the community center would get that money though.
No.
We did a couple years ago. So that was kind of our, do you remember that?
I've just been on it for a couple of years, so. and-
It was in the
I don't
meeting
even
minutes
remember
for
what it
this.
is.
Okay, I'll try and,
Because Kerry was on there, and that's
Okay.
when they were trying to get the grant for the roof. And the town couldn't afford to give them anything for the grant. So they would do fundraisers and stuff, and we said, well, we would let them log the tree limbs back there to get some money, $4,000 for them to help
No.
towards the building.
I understand that, but nothing ever came out of that, nobody ever did anything, nobody ever went
Well,
back
we
and
don't-
logged it or anything
They
like that.
did log it, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So,
But if we.
Well, Chad is still interested.
Can I
but
say
we
something?
told them that they could go ahead and do it in minutes.
Can I say something? In the contract, though, the town originally, from what the contract says, I think, the town was supposed to do this roof. And we worked our tails off to get the money to match the grant to do the roof. So I think the center needs to kind of get something out of it, because we're trying to,
well,
Do
I
another
understand,
thing.
I understand what everybody's saying, I understand what everybody's saying, but like Daryl's mentioned several times, the outside of the building is the town's, the inside of the building is you guys'.
But you're
Trees
not
are
doing
grown
anything for the
outside.
outside. We've replaced the roof twice.
that's right.
But we have, if we give you, say we get this $6,500, say we go with him, and we give you $6,500, are you gonna give us $40,000 to put a new well in?
Well, how does that have to do with the water?
We need money just as well as you guys.
Well, you could work your tails off
We
like
have to
that.
get a new cop car, which we're gonna get to that. Are you gonna give us money for the new cop car? We are trying to find money to keep this town going just as well as you guys are trying to find money to keep this community center going.
Well, I don't see why
When you guys
can't
keep
care.
coming to the town and asking for our money, we are running out of money. We,
Well, why don't you guys do some fundraisers? Or
you
ask for
guys can do
donations?
more fundraisers.
Pardon me?
You guys are a self-sustaining business. We
Well,
get a
yeah,
certain
because we
amount of
work every
money,
month.
the town gets a certain amount of money a year. That's it, from the state. We don't get any more, we don't do any fundraisers. You guys are
But you
self-sustaining
can
business.
do fundraisers.
And we have a contract saying that you'll take care of the roof that you haven't done.
Roof's done. That is.
It's
before
done
me.
because
paid
we
for
worked our
That is
butts
before
off.
me, that is the other administration, that is
Did you
a
get a
done
grant
deal,
for a lot of
that
that from all
is, that is
that?
all done,
Yeah.
paperwork is signed, filed away.
That's the same way we
I have
ended up
nothing to
doing
say
the
about
streets,
this,
we
the
had
roof.
to
I,
get money for it
Right, so
before
when
town.
we took care of your stuff
I
that
mean,
you were
we-
supposed to take care of, and now that we're asking for some help, it's too bad? Because we
I'm
need to
saying
do more
at this
fundraisers
point-
and you
I'm
don't need to
saying
do
at this
anything.
point, it's too bad because we have bigger problems than trying to help a business get a grant.
Look at the streets that needs done.
We need streets done.
I know, we need a parking lot done.
Because
You know,
there were streets.
I mean, I understand everybody in this town needs money for stuff, but I can't pull money out of thin air, guys.
Right,
But
but
now I come up with this idea to get this log, so that way we can get some asphalt grinding, or not asphalt grinding, some coal patch. Maybe give Matt a little money to get a car, because our car is done.
We had this idea long before you had the idea.
Well, nobody brought it to my attention until I decided to bring it up.
Well, when you brought it up, I told you that we had somebody in mind.
You, when I brought it up, you said, you told me that you guys feel that you're entitled to some of the money.
That's exactly
And I
right.
told you, what did I tell you?
I
I
don't
said,
remember.
we have other things planned for this money.
Well,
Right.
we didn't want the community center to end up looking like the rest of the town up there where the
Yeah,
buildings
but-
come down.
Why have a diamond sitting in the middle of a, dumpster?
Well,
It
that's
ain't, it
what,
doesn't look good, does it? So
no,
we're
it
trying to
doesn't look
fix up
good
the
up
rest of the
there,
town too.
but nobody ever took care of it.
I understand what you guys are saying.
And
But we
if,
are-
if
we
if
are a
this is
town
not let
board.
go, it'll be the same way as Wallace.
And Alamo.
Or Alamo, yes, Alamo, rather than Wallace.
But you guys don't understand, we are a town board. We are trying to come up with money to keep the town functioning. You guys are a community center board. You guys have to come up with ways of keeping the community center going. I can't,
But you are in the community center. And you own the community center.
exactly. And
So
you
don't
guys
you
are
think you
self-
should contribute?
You guys are a self-sufficient business. You guys can do whatever you can to make money. We can't. We get a certain amount.
That's not true.
well, wait a minute,
Okay.
wait a minute, you can't get any money, then how can you take these trees and get money?
Because that is town property.
But you just said you can't get money.
We can cut them trees and sell it.
Well, that's making money.
But then that's making money.
What else? We're not doing fundraisers.
Cause that's too much
This is,
work.
okay. What I am proposing is that we take the money that we are getting from the trees. We get a load of asphalt grinding, or not asphalt grinding, it's coal patch. And we set the rest of it aside for our town cop car, because our town cop car right now is broke, we are borrowing Bainbridge's. So, with that being said, about $2,000.
How much is it gonna cost per car?
Because
I knew $100, but I didn't know.
that's all in new business, but our car is probably, we're gonna have to decide if we're gonna send it to insurance or not, because it's pretty well chewed up.
Well, Chad Oliver seems like he's honest. We had, south of town, somebody had some trees cut recently. It was $1 million project. The people got $200,000 out of it, and they were happy. But the people who cut the trees got $800,000. Now, that doesn't seem quite fair, and as this person told me, Chad would have been here tonight, but he's at the Putnam County Fair. And Chad said, if you don't know who you're talking to, they can easily take big advantage of you if you don't know what's going on. Whereas Chad went to school here, his parents went to school here, his family, they're honest, he's insured, he's licensed. He was not gonna charge us a dime. And he's gonna cut them down at no cost and give the money to the community center in the
How
town.
much is he talking? How much money?
Well, I don't know how much wood you guys think's back there, because.
No,
these
how
are
much
4
is
different
this
logs
Oliver
that-
saying he can give us, give you?
Well, he did give me an estimate, I don't remember, but.
Well, we
it was
need
a
an
few thou-
estimate.
Yeah, well, I
And
don't.
we'd take the most amount. Don't
He
care
was
who it
only
is.
talking about cutting, 6 or 7 trees, he wasn't talking about cutting 20.
say, well, we're gonna get more out there, get more money, so we gotta go where the money is, my book. I mean,
One thing about it, Linda, the trees will increase in value, they'll get bigger, and lumber will be more expensive, and we'll get more money later on. We might need some of this money
There's one over here.
at a later date.
I don't know. But I'm saying if we're selling trees, we need to get the most out of them that we can. I don't care who it is.
Well, I mean, we're gonna get 100%, so how can you get more than that?
Well, you don't know what that number is, whether it's
What's
4,000,
Oh,
5,000,
no.
10,000, 20,000.
Yeah, I don't have my phone with me.
No clue. Sounds like it was in the minutes from previous meetings that needs to be looked at before we do anything, so. Like my normal track is, take it.
I'll try and work on that. Do you know when you guys were going for the roof, so I can have an idea?
Now what now?
When did we, they wanted, we're gonna table it,
Okay.
so wants to table it, and we're gonna go through the minutes on when we
Oh,
said
okay.
that you guys would have.
Do you have an idea
Yeah, I
about
have an
when the
idea.
proposal was on that roof? Like an estimate,
It was-
so I have
It
some
was
kind of.
before, I think it was before you guys were on the board. But I-
Yeah, so how do you?
So it's been like 3 years ago.
Probably three or
So-
four, might even been 4. I can ask Chad.
Because he gave you a proposal.
Yeah, he did, and he
Okay.
told me how much, but I don't, I mean, it's.
Give me kind of a date if you could, and then that.
I'll talk to him about it.
I mean, if it's before these guys, I mean, you're still going back 5 years and you don't have to read every single minute. So do you have an idea where I
I'll
can
talk
start to
to
look?
Chad, and I'll find out how much exactly, because I don't
Well,
want
I-
to say something, because I don't really remember.
I need
But I
a-
just know it's
the date.
100%.
Right, I just need a date that you guys discussed that with the town, so I can look at the old minutes.
So we're gonna try and find up the old minutes, so we'll just.
Okay.
table it till
I just
next-
need a date on what year or month.
There, I'll get with you afterwards.
Okay,
And then, so, the next thing for the old business would be the asphalt patch, which we might as well table that right now because we have to, figure out what we're gonna do with the wood then. If not, if we end up giving it all to the community center, remind you guys,
I'll watch the community center.
if we end up giving this money to the community center, remind you guys, our roads are not getting fixed because we have no money to go buy $2,000 worth of asphalt patch. So, and right now, we have gravel in them that Dave has done a great job putting in there, but come winter,
Yeah, it won't
that
stay.
gravel's gonna come out.
Yeah, I've been going back there in that lot back there and getting that out of that pile of junk back there. You have to sort the asphalt chunks out of it, but, I mean, it's working pretty good,
The
but
regrind.
like you
the
say,
regrind,
it
yeah.
won't stay this winter.
Okay. So, other than that, that's all I have for old business,
no,
right?
no, because you skipped one.
That's all that's on my,
Oh,
No,
oh, that's the silver, okay.
Yeah,
so. New business. I'm gonna skip down first, the Tahoe.
I think it's me. So as you guys are aware, the beginning of this month, our Tahoe went into what I would call limp mode. We had it towed off to get looked at. Long story short, the main wiring harness has been chewed through by rodents. The wiring harness you are no longer able to get a hold of, so it cannot be fixed. So there's I'll give the synopsis. There's obviously up to you guys option of I'm being told that it's possible to turn that in on an insurance claim and total the vehicle out. In the meantime, we have previously, Russellville has got donations of vehicles from the sheriff's department when those are available. However, the sheriff's department is now in negotiations. I think it's actually started in contracting with Enterprise. So we will no longer own vehicles in the sheriff's department, they will be leased out. So that sourcing will cease going forward. In the meantime, I have reached out to Greencastle City Police. There's a resolution that you guys have. They are willing to sell us a decommissioned Charger that they had for $100. And I have managed to get the equipment to put back into it for free as a donation. The only other inherent cost would be having that equipment installed by JTN, which would be, as a phone estimate, was between $500 and $600. So I would be roughly $700 into a vehicle on the high end without having any markings. However, we did auction off the Crown Vic, so there should be money in there to accommodate that.
We have to get the decal, right?
Yes, I could get the decal wouldn't be the issue, so. To my knowledge, they had several Chargers out there. I went and inspected one, probably the best running. I believe it is a 2011 or 2012, and I think, don't quote me, it has around 100,000 miles on it. So it's, though it's older, it's not in terrible shape.
So, with that being said, we have a couple things here that we need to, do we have a motion to try and turn the Tahoe in on insurance?
Make a motion to turn it into insurance.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And the other one is to hear a motion to accept the resolution.
No, this is
Dash
one.
Make a motion to accept resolution 2026-1 for
I make a motion to, accept the resolution number 2026-1, the resolution of the town of Russellville accepting the donation of a decommissioned police vehicle from the city of Greenwich.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
And the last thing we have to do is make a motion to allow Matt to use $600 or whatever he needs to get the lights put on.
I make a motion to get ready. Use the money for that, Crown Vic, and we get insurance.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So, Matt, that's all. That'll get the Dodge Charger, get the insurance done, get the lights put on it. Now, with that being said, you were saying that this is an older vehicle.
It is.
Matt has a plan.
Being said, obviously going with the sheriff's department as decommissioned vehicles is no longer going to be viable. I did speak to the representative from Enterprise that is dealing with the sheriff's department, and in essence, we are doing a lease year, but then for 4 or 5 years, depending on where we're structuring these, but those vehicles may be able in the following years at the end of that lease to be purchased back from the sheriff's department. So though we will be paying more to buy out the remainder of that lease, which would be estimated several $1,000s, we are also getting a 4-year-old vehicle. So if we have that funding source when it comes available, you hope that, obviously, bar of any, natural occurrence, that, a 4-year-old vehicle would last forever up here. I mean, so the idea, like I said, we'd have to sit down in budget season and slowly try to figure out a funding source. If we turn the Tahoe into insurance and get anything from that and build in essence, just a budget line item for a continuing vehicle that in the next 4 or 5 years, we may be able to buy a vehicle buy out the lease from the sheriff's department for a couple $1,000, but it would end up being a 4 or 5 year old vehicle versus 15-year-old vehicles that we normally get hand-me-down.
Because usually it's either in, or we can put it back.
Sorry.
How can we put it back and use it, be able to keep building on it for like a vehicle?
You'd have to set it up under an account stating you know, savings.
Yeah, there
savings
are
for a police
ways,
vehicle or something.
just the same way we have that SBOA account
The
that we only
SBOA.
use every 4 years. So
Gotcha.
there are ways to do it that you have money and don't lose it, but
Because you lose, you spend,
Mhm.
you lose what you don't spend.
So, that's just some information for everybody, so everybody knows kind of where we're standing with the vehicle for the town. Alright. That's all I have for new business. New master plans.
I make a motion that we approve the master claims for $54,115.28.
All in favor?
Aye.
And public comments. Actually, Dave, you were telling me just before the meeting that you had some repairs that need to be done to the tractor. You wanna tell us about those?
Well, it was leaking oil the right front, which it's a front wheel assist. The final drive, there was a bearing out of it. The gears look okay, and I hope that we can get by with just replacing a bearing and a seal and an O-ring. But there's another part in there that I'm worried about, but I'm gonna take it all down to Humphreys in the morning.
Humphreys,
Humphreys.
down in Greencastle. So I told Dave, I said, go ahead and take it down there. If it's cheap enough, get it fixed. You know, if it's really expensive, of course, he's gonna have to just get an estimate from him and come back and let us know, so. It's figured out. But we gotta have a tractor that does, that's what we're using right now to fill the potholes in. The gravel.
And I just had a cylinder repaired that was leaking pretty bad on that same side. Over here at the Amish, it was $184 or some change, something like that. I'm hoping that this down here will be
They can look at this one, right?
not even, I'm hoping it'll be less than $200. It shouldn't even be $100, but we'll have to see.
Just let us know, I mean, you can give me a call or something, I can send a message and then.
Oh, I had to put 2 new tires on the mower finally, broke down and done that.
So we're having some maintenance issues.
Yeah, it's coming off, well, it's been needing done forever, and I kept trying to patch it up, but it got past the point of patching up. I mean, I put tubes in, I put a tube in one tire, but the casing's so bad on the inside, where I fixed the bad place I put the tube in it, that was okay, but it broke down in another place and pinched somewhere else, so I just said, you know, this is fruitless. I mean, why keep trying to? So I went down and got 2 new tires and had Asher's mounted them for $20. The tires were $350 or $60, something like that.
Any other public comments?
Yeah. I have some things I want to say, and I would appreciate not being interrupted until I finish my comments. Anyway, I'll try to speak loud enough that everybody can hear me. We got the community center, and had it not been for the community center board, we would not have that. The town of Waveland was offered the Waveland School by the South Montgomery School Corporation, and they didn't have anybody to run it, and so they declined, and of course, the School of Waveland is now privately owned. I think you guys are blessed that, you know, you had somebody that said that they would run it, and and thank us for helping you out with that. Right now, the town and the community center are working so much better, and that makes it easier for all of us when we can work together. It hasn't always been a pleasant situation. I think that the town needs to stay here and help us with what you can, and you need to follow the contract. Now, I realize some of this is hearsay, but I don't think that you need to build a 200,000 building uptown for the town hall when you couldn't help us out on a roof. Anyway, when we fixed our roof, it had 16 leaks. It was like a shower. And Todd and Michelle got up there with patching stuff that the community center paid for and patched those leaks because we wanted to save the building. Another point, the community center board, and there's two of us here, I'm 76, Barb will soon be 86 in November. And we're getting old, and we're getting tired, and we don't want to do a fundraiser every month. And you know, since 1999, we have been doing a monthly fundraiser and sometimes two. And I can't do that anymore, and Barb can't do that either. We've also started an endowment fund with some of our income to help in the future. Please take the burden off of us for working so hard to make ends meet. I want you to know that I seldom ever have a weekend free, as I'm always letting someone in the center, or I'm scheduling and opening up and closing this facility, and I've been doing it for 27 years. I do it because I care. I care about the center and what it means to many of us, including myself. I'm around that we have one of the best, I think we have one of the best community centers around. In fact, I've been to several community centers and none even compare closely. To find something of this capacity, you would have to go to Crawfordsville, Rockville, or Greencastle. We have a high school regulation size gym. Our rooms, as you can see, are spacious. They have chairs and tables in them. We have a microwave, a refrigerator, freezer. We have a sink. We have serving tables on the side with electrical outlets for crock pots. We have tables and chairs in the room, and it is clean, thanks to our custodians. We have a large kitchen back in the back with many appliances and sinks, and we also provide volleyball and roller skating, which is very unusual for a community center to provide roller skating. It's not always been like this either. In the beginning, we got a shell of a building. We have purchased all the chairs and tables. We bought 4 new drinking fountains. We put in a new heater, furnace I mean, and we also put a hood on the stove in the kitchen, and which was quite expensive. All 4 drinking fountains have been replaced, and recently, and Jim Richardson replaced those. We also paid for something that we shouldn't. Our water pile ditch was stopped up twice, and anyway, we paid to have that taken care of, and that's something that we really shouldn't have paid for. In the very beginning, the bulletin boards, blackboards were taken off of most of the rooms. This is one of the few that didn't have them taken off. And we had to come in and chisel all that off the wall. Probably many would have given up, but the town board was extremely supportive in the beginning. Steve Gant was on the board, and Steve and Debbie became our volunteer custodians. We didn't have a trash truck because we couldn't afford it. So if you rented the community center, you had to take the trash home. I've had many people say that they were surprised that we made it. Scott Michon was also on the board and also served on our board. In the beginning, it was supposed to be a town board member, was also supposed to be a part of the community center board. And unfortunately, that hasn't continued on. We voted on it in the very beginning. This was in the fall of 1999. And I went around and I contacted people and asked them to come and vote. The superintendent had contacted me because he knew I'd been principal here and wanted to know if we would like to turn it into a community center. Well, unfortunately, there were several people in town that didn't think so. And Charlene and Barb, you probably remember that. Anyway, Chuck Marsteller made this comment, and I will never forget it. I saw Linda at the post office, and she told me that Chuck said, how do you know you can't make a go of the community center unless you try? And I thought, from a guy who had some brain cancer and all, I thought that was a very positive statement. And so the town did vote, and it came out to 17-16 in favor of keeping the community center. And of course, so we accepted it from the town accepted it free from the North Putnam School Corporation. But also at that time, the roof was leaking then. That was in 1999. In the library, you could see daylight. Every room on that side of the building was leaking. Every room on the south side, the pipes had frozen and burst, and it was leaking. I was mopping water in 6 different rooms, and I thought, what have I got myself into? Anyway, now this room was okay, and so was the gym. But it was very depressing. Anyway, I know we needed help, so I contacted the Putnam County Foundation because I knew they had given out grants, and I was kind of familiar with them. And this was in the year 2000. And we raised then, back in the year 2000, $30,000. And they gave us $30,000. So we paid for our new roof twice and never been reimbursed. The reason we did it, because we wanted to save this building, and we knew you guys did not have any money. And we certainly did a lot of fundraising. In fact, we started our fundraisers because we didn't have a kitchen. We started them at the church. You remember that, when we had dinners at the church in the very beginning?
I was
Charlie,
working.
maybe, I don't know if you do, but anyway, we didn't have a kitchen down here. We had absolutely nothing, so we had them over at the church. I was also Sunday school superintendent at that time, so that worked out pretty well. The furnace had 2 controls, on and off. So when it got too hot, I came down, turned the furnace off, and then I'd come back later and turn it back on again. In the kitchen, whoever the previous owners were, they had taken the fan out of the exhaust fan in the kitchen and just left it open. So the weather and the birds or whatever. Anyway, at your last town board meeting, you were talking about making raises. Well, we would like to make some raises also, but because of the lack of funds, we can't. Todd here gets paid. Our custodians have always been paid minimum wage, except in the beginning when they were volunteering. He gets paid for 20 hours a week, but he works 80. But we only pay him for 20 at minimum wage. His wife is usually helping him, and she doesn't get paid at all. You will never find anybody any better workers than what they are. And the reason our facility is so busy is because it's so clean. We are sitting on a floor right now. This was put in 1957, but you would not know it by looking at it. Besides doing all the cleaning, they also put all the roller skates. Some of you might remember the time when we had a pile of roller skates in the room. Anyway, he cleans, sprays, puts the roller skates back every time we have roller skating, and he's also our maintenance man. Community Center would really like to pay both of them for more hours. I mean, they're working more hours. We'd like to pay them for more, and something better than minimum wage. I want you to know that Todd is the only paid person that we have. The rest of us are expected to work, aren't we, Barb?
Yeah.
And to donate. And I don't know how many. We would really be in debt if we had to pay Barb for all the pies she's made. I've tried to help the town because I care deeply about our town. I can remember when the buildings were full. When I was a kid, every building had 1 post office, 2 banks, 2 restaurants, 2 gasoline stations.
2 grocery stores.
Yep,
2
2 grocery
hardware stores.
A laundromat, a doctor's office, a barber shop.
2 barber shops and 2 beauty shops.
And I can remember when every building was, when I was 5 years old, my mother, she had raised chickens, and would she take eggs in and trade them out at John Ratcliffe's grocery store, which was on the end. And it is sad to me and many others to see them empty and most of all falling down and torn down. Now, I think it was around 2008, and I was on the Putnam County Community Foundation Board, and there was a guy on the board, he said, I think I can help you out. I think I can help you with Russellville. He said, I know this lady, her name's Rose Wernicke, and she helps get people on the national and state register of historic sites. So she came, and we had a meeting in this room. I don't know if anybody remembers that or not, but this room was packed. I thought we might have to move to the gym. Anyway, she did a thorough report on the town of Russellville. And she had pictures. She had pictures of the old house where the Senate is, and she had pictures of downtown and all. Anyway, what that did, we got on the historic site for both national and state. And she says, well, now you guys can get grants. You can get grants to fix up your town. Well, I asked, why we weren't doing that, and they said, well, we have no money. And that, I wanted to do everything I could to help, but I was already busy down here trying to keep this place going. But I just thought it was so sad that we couldn't get any money, to get a matching grant. I mean, that's the way it usually works. You have to have some money to get money. Anyway, if you have any extra money, I would like to see you use it to restore our present town instead of building a new 200,000 building up there. I feel we're getting a good deal with our grant. We have to pay $85,000. We have to raise $85,000, and we're not near there. But we're going to get $750,000 out of that. Now, I think 85 for us to provide and to get 750 is a good deal. I would suggest instead of building new buildings, take care of what you have. I would hope that one could still get those grants, and I, for one, would like to see our town restored with businesses back in them. And it goes back to what Chuck Marsteller said. You don't know if we get businesses back, but you ought to try. What you do with the lots uptown. I know you got 2 empty lots uptown, and you got the hotel lot, and that's, I don't have, that's all yours. But we certainly prefer that our property here not be sold, like I've heard that you want to sell back in the back. And I would prefer to keep those lots empty. I've even talked about getting solar panels, talked to the guy that was here about solar panels. Now, as I was on the North Putnam Putnam School Board, we put the solar panels there at the North Putnam School. Most of you have seen those. And those solar panels pay for the electric usually in the spring, the summer, and the fall. Now, in the wintertime, of course, you have less daylight. And, but we need help paying for the electric bill. It's $1,200 or more every month. And it would be nice if we had, but again, we can't afford to put in those solar panels, but there are grants out there. And that's what North Putnam School got. We got grants to put those solar panels in. And I think it's a pretty good deal when you get solar panels and you get a grant and then you don't have to pay electric bill. I mean, how many of us would like not to have to pay electric bill? But anyway, I would like for, of course, somebody said, well, you can put the solar panels on the roof. Well, every 20 years with a flat roof, I think we're gonna have to replace it. So I don't think that's a good idea to put our solar panels on the roof. But we would like to keep that area so that we could use it in case we ever want to have the roundup again. We had tractor pulls back in the back. We had the fireworks back there just a couple of weeks ago. And I don't think we need to be selling our land. Anyway, I sincerely hope you will consider our comments as our board met last evening to discuss this and wanted us to move forward. We do have a couple of board members here. I hope you'll be fair, and I hope that we can continue to work together in a positive way. Yeah.
Well, do what? Yeah, I don't know what to say. You've got some wires crossed somewhere. We'll tell you that.
Well, you can tell me what's crossed and I'll.
Nobody said anything about selling anything in the back or this property.
Yeah.
The only properties that were talked about being sold are the ones uptown.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad we got that straightened
I
out.
don't know where that came from, and nobody said anything about a $200,000 building. I had mentioned it'd be nice to have a town hall back uptown because there's nothing up there. But we've never got any prices or anything, we've never even talked about it in this board.
Well, I want you to know those rumors are going around. But anyway, if it's
Well,
not
they're
true.
rumors.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I appreciate you setting
You
this
guys
straight.
cannot get all wound up over rumors. If they were not said in this room, in front of that camera, they were just rumors.
Okay.
And that's what this population of 350-something people is nothing but rumors.
Well, talk's cheap and it's always gonna happen.
But, other than that, any other public comments?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. 26. Give everybody a second to read over minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Don't really have anything for full business except for, she didn't put it on there, but we do have, we're still trying to come up with some money to get our pumps replaced. I found the paper that Troy gave us, it's $39,460 for pump one, $35,034 for pump two, which is a total of $74,494 to have both of our pumps done. Because if I remember correctly, when he was here last, he said that we were running off pump two, pump one is shut down. It does not work. So, we were trying to come up with some way to get that taken care of. We have not come up with that yet, so that is still tabled until Troy gets back and discuss that. I don't know where he is this week, he's not here, so, that's all I really have for old business, new business, I don't really have anything other than this. It did give me a couple of leak adjustments she would like to have done. This is 603 North Harrison Street. My letter to let the board know that I had a massive leak in my basement in June of 2006. We had the parts to fix it, so we did not need to buy nothing. I have no receipts, but I just want to do that, so thank you, Laura, Stores.
There's an old pipe underneath the house.
She
There was an
had-
older one, yes, under the house.
So you pulled July. You pulled July's minutes.
Yeah,
back on.
the pen,
So you're wanting this is $321.35. You're wanting it adjusted to
Nope.
93.46 or something?
that's what I want adjusted out.
So you want to take 93.46 off of it?
Yes.
So she wants to deduct $93.46 off of $321.35. My math is, I'm not doing it in my head.
So the 321 was June's bill?
That's what she owed prior,
Right.
and I took out what her average
Was.
for a month, and that $90-something is the overage that she wants adjusted for leak.
We got a motion to accept this?
I make a motion to accept the $93.46.
Second. All in favor? And the second one
I'll
is,
text her tomorrow and let her know it's approved.
you have two on here, 2 leaks, so there's 3 of them total?
Well, so that's Russ Chapman. He had a water leak and it was at the water, it was a hot water pipe under his house. He's not mobile, so he can't get under the house. He did have somebody come and fix that for free through the church or whatever. And then as he was going through his yard, he seen, and he didn't realize that there is a water line that goes out to his external garage that's not attached. Again, the main shut off for that is underneath the house, so he had Lori Horton come and shut that off. And the picture shows where it was leaking out in the middle of the yard, but he won't be able to turn it back on. Somebody else will have to do that, so he has no plans to turn it back on.
Shut off now.
It is completely shut off under his house. So
For the ex.
when he was gonna write a note last month for the other one, he had seen that there was one, so he just put it as one, thing. So I don't know how you guys wanna handle that. But that's what happened, and I helped him write up the letter. I went to the house, I looked at it to take a picture of it, because he is very limited on what he can write up. And that's the explanation I got
So-
from him.
This, you're wanting $119.06
And he has been
Off
making
of the
payments.
184.37.
He has been, unlike some that are not making payments until it gets adjusted, he has made payments.
So his bill's 184.37, and they're asking to deduct $119.06 off of it.
I have a question on these, that you're always coming up with wanting to reimburse somebody for their water leaks or whatever. How come we don't catch those water leaks ourselves without them having to tell us?
'Cause they're on
Don't
their-
you read these meters or anything?
Yes.
They're on
To
their
check 'em?
property.
Huh?
They're on their property. I mean, we don't know if they're using water on their property. We don't know.
Yeah.
I
but-
can read the consumption and see that it's higher than usual and normally say, hey, either did you have a party, are you filling your pool? Otherwise, if you didn't know that you used extra water this month, I can see that you have X amount that you normally use. It's up to them to get that corrected and
But you let
fixed.
them know that they're
Yes.
using excess water.
Yeah, and then they
how's
can have,
How's come every meeting we have to reimburse somebody because they've had a water leak and they didn't
Because
know it?
everybody's allowed to have one adjustment a year if they have a water leak.
But they gotta prove that it was a leak.
and that they've
They
gotten it
gotta prove
fixed.
that it was a leak, and they gotta show the receipts or something that they
Fixed it.
fixed it.
So if
Because
Russ
last
was
month
to
we
have
had like $800 we had to,
If Russ was to have another water leak this year, he would have to pay for everything out of his pocket and pay for the water that was wasted. So it's them taking a gamble that this is the most expensive leak they're gonna have this year, and we do the courtesy of adjusting once a year, so.
It'd be like saying you got a leak at your house and it's a small one, and you come in and
Yeah.
have, you know.
yeah, I understand, but if I've got a leak, I hope she tells me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
she
That
won't
you're
know
using
until
excess
next month.
water,
Right.
don't wait until you get a bill
But
and it's outrageous.
These are smaller ones, you know, where
Well,
they.
yeah, last month we had what, $800 we had to reimburse or
Right.
somebody, that's ridiculous, that amount.
But that one, I think, was one that we were waiting on them to fix, but.
yeah, he had, it
Well,
had
If
been
it's
a
still
while.
leaking,
No, it was shut off. They had just got the parts to fix it. That was from months ago. They just finally got us the receipts, so that way